Hey, what's up, Obscure Mic people? Today, you're not even going to have to look at my face. I literally just want to show you the Focusrite iTrack dock. Is it a simple yes or no on this device? Pretty cool. It's almost like having a all-in-one workstation here. As you can see, iPad directly docked to the Focusrite iTrack dock. I know they made one of these for the iPhone. I did not know until recently they made one for the iPad. You have two channels here, direct monitor button, headphone out, and a monitor out big knob. You can record in GarageBand or anything else audio-wise that the iPad will connect to. You've got a quarter-inch headphone jack here. And for the sake of knowing, I am using the Superlux D421 because it's the closest thing to a gain-hungry mic I have. Don't have an SM7B anymore. Let's take a look at everything on the back of the iTrack dock. Split that and reverse it. So we've got a power switch. We have the connection for the power pack. A USB port, but this is for MIDI devices, keyboards, stuff like that. Monitor outputs, 1 and 2. We've got mic input 2 or a line level 2. 48 volt phantom power switch. Line level mic 1 or XLR mic 1, and a instrument jack over here, and your Kensington lock switch. Notice anything missing? The USB port does nothing with the computer. So we have no USB audio interface capability here. That is just going to be your iPad. Your iPad is what you're going to record to, unless you take the monitor out jacks and use like a Behringer U-Control. I can't remember the exact name of it. I'll put the link in the description, but it's a little box, mostly used for recording records straight to your computer or audio sources like that. That's actually a really good way to turn any device with a pair of outs into a USB audio interface. And it works really, really well, and it has a headphone jack. So if I were to use this, which I did use this on the most recent episode of Stuck in My Generation podcast that I do, that I used it to record that and to go live with that. So it is workable. You can run the outs to a USB device like the Behringer U-Control device, which is super handy, and get really good results, and even do online podcasts because, again, you have the headphone out. You're going to hear everything coming from this unit into the Behringer U-Control, and you can hear what's coming in from the computer through the Behringer U-Control. So your headphones will be plugged into that. I have one up in my podcast studio, but I did not bring it down. Oversight. That's okay, though. I'll put a picture of it right here. And just know that this device can turn this device into basically everything you want it to be. Now, I do have the gain all the way up using this dynamic microphone. And the preamps don't sound hissy. They sound pretty solid, but again, all the way up. An SM7B would probably be a little quieter than this right now. So take that for a grain of salt. I will post on here if I did boost this video's audio in post or not. I will post. Is that what I said? That I would post it in post? But anyways, I kind of like running the U-Control device into this because then you're controlling your audio into the computer with the monitor gain dial, which is pretty snazzy. The headphone out is adequate. It's fine, pretty decent. One thing that's really weird about this device, though, is unless you're recording with the iPad or iPad mini or iPad Air, whatever, you cannot record, you cannot directly monitor your audio with this. It has to be plugged into something to monitor the audio. I'll show you a little video here. The iPad goes onto this device, but it has a moving lightning connector, so you can pretty much move it wherever you need for any iPad almost to go onto this dock. As far as my final thoughts on this thing, for an older device, I think it's extremely cool to be able to record your podcast. And, you can go into GarageBand and set your track 1, track 2. You can do your processing as it's recording. So there's a lot of benefits to this. I definitely recommend having a couple of inline preamps, which I used on the podcast. I used the Polson inline preamp and the Valese that I did. That's actually pronounced Valese. I used that to do the podcast, and the results were good. That podcast is the Megadeth episode where we reviewed every album of Megadeth's, including the new one, kind of tier ranked them. So if you want to hear what this thing was like in action on a podcast, I think it turned out pretty well for what it is. The Focusrite iTrack dock, you can grab this for about $100 used. No, I haven't seen it new anywhere, but you can totally grab it for $100 used. And if you are an iPad power user, like if you do everything with your iPad, this might be something you want to use, because when you're done recording, grab your iPad and go. Edit, do whatever you want. It's kind of convenient in that way. I'm not a big fan of GarageBand on iPad. Like, I know it works, but it's just a little bit wonky compared to the desktop version, in my opinion. So this isn't going to be like an end all for me on recording, but I did have good success doing a podcast with it. So there you go. The Focusrite iTrack dock. It's a pretty cool device. It's got the wedge shape here, so it kind of angles up towards you. It's not flat. It is angled. So I don't know. As far as an all-in-one device goes, it is pretty cool. It is all plastic, and I will say before I go, the biggest drawback about this device, in my opinion, is the rubber texture on top. I just cleaned this thing, and it's already picked up a ton of just dust. But it will get covered, because that's that sticky, tactile rubber stuff that we all hate. I hate anyways. Hear it? Gotta listen closely to hear the old rubber drag. But yeah, the Focusrite iTrack dock, there's worse options out there. And again, if you have an iPad, this is pretty cool for $100 to start your two-man podcast or two-man production. Just a little difficult to do audio or to do video with it. That's why I'm not on camera. I wanted you to see the product and not me, and we were talking about the product, but I suppose maybe you could, you might be able to record with this camera and let's find out. Let's just see. Let's see if we can do that. Camera. Oops. All right. Here we go. Now we're recording, taking a video. I really don't want to show my ugly face on here, but I will. Just my eyeball. Oh yeah, there I am. But I imagine, if you wanted to do a podcast, you might be able to connect with someone and do that. Maybe you could just prop this up and connect that way. I don't know. Either way, pretty cool device. Secure mics. Peace out.